Welcome to our exploration of ethical issues in data research. In today's data-driven world, researchers are constantly collecting, analyzing, and interpreting vast amounts of information. But with this power comes great responsibility. Ethical considerations are at the heart of trustworthy research, ensuring that data is handled with care, respect, and integrity. In this video, we'll walk through the most pressing ethical challenges in data research and provide practical strategies for addressing them. Let's begin by understanding why ethics matter so much in this field and how they shape the foundation of credible research. Ethics in data research go beyond just following rules. They're about protecting people, ensuring fairness, and building public trust. When researchers act ethically, they respect the rights and dignity of individuals whose data they use. This not only prevents harm but also strengthens the credibility of their findings. Ethical lapses can lead to serious consequences, such as privacy violations, discrimination, or loss of reputation. That's why understanding and addressing ethical issues is not just a legal obligation but a moral one as well. Let's look at the key ethical principles guiding data research. The core of ethical data research are several guiding principles: respect for persons, beneficence, and justice. Respect for persons means honoring autonomy and privacy. Beneficence involves maximizing benefits while minimizing harm. Justice ensures that the benefits and burdens of research are distributed fairly. These principles help researchers navigate complex situations and make decisions that uphold the dignity and rights of all stakeholders. By keeping these values in mind, researchers can create a strong ethical foundation for their work. One of the most important ethical practices in data research is obtaining informed consent. This means that participants are fully aware of what data is being collected, how it will be used, and any potential risks involved. Researchers must communicate clearly and honestly, ensuring that consent is given freely without any pressure. Informed consent not only protects participants, but also builds trust between researchers and the community. It's a fundamental step in ethical research that should never be overlooked. Protecting the privacy and confidentiality of research participants is a cornerstone of ethical data research. Researchers must take steps to safeguard personal information, using secure storage methods and limiting access to sensitive data. Anonymizing data wherever possible helps prevent identification of individuals. By prioritizing privacy, researchers demonstrate respect for participants and reduce the risk of harm. This commitment to confidentiality is essential for maintaining public trust in research. Ensuring the security of research data is critical to preventing unauthorized access, breaches, or misuse. Researchers should implement robust security protocols such as encryption, strong passwords, and regular audits. Training team members on data security best practices is also vital. By proactively addressing security risks, researchers can protect both the data and the individuals it represents. This not only fulfills ethical obligations but also helps avoid costly and damaging data breaches. Bias in data research can lead to unfair or inaccurate conclusions, affecting both individuals and communities. Ethical researchers must be vigilant in identifying and minimizing bias at every stage, from data collection to analysis and reporting. This includes using representative samples, transparent methodologies, and critical self-reflection. By actively working to reduce bias, researchers can produce more reliable and equitable results, ultimately benefiting society as a whole. Transparency is a key ethical value in data research. Researchers should clearly document and share their methods, data sources, and analytical processes. This openness allows others to verify findings, replicate studies, and build on existing knowledge. Transparent practices also help prevent misconduct and foster a culture of accountability. By being open about their work, researchers contribute to the integrity and progress of the scientific community. Sharing data can accelerate scientific progress, but it must be done responsibly. Researchers should consider the potential risks and benefits before sharing datasets. Sensitive information should be anonymized, and access should be granted only to those with legitimate reasons. Clear data sharing agreements can help define expectations and responsibilities. By balancing openness with caution, researchers can promote collaboration while protecting participants' rights. Conflicts of interest can compromise the integrity of data research. These arise when personal, financial, or professional interests influence research decisions. Ethical researchers must disclose any potential conflicts and take steps to manage them transparently. This might involve recusing oneself from certain decisions or seeking independent oversight. By addressing conflicts of interest openly, researchers maintain objectivity and public trust. Algorithms play a growing role in data research, but they can also introduce ethical challenges. Researchers must ensure that algorithms are designed and used in ways that are fair, transparent, and accountable. This includes testing for bias, explaining how decisions are made, and allowing for human oversight. Ethical algorithm use helps prevent discrimination and supports trustworthy research outcomes. Data research often involves participants from diverse backgrounds. Ethical researchers must respect cultural differences and consider how cultural norms may affect consent, privacy, and data interpretation. Engaging with communities and seeking local input can help ensure that research practices are culturally sensitive and appropriate. This respect for diversity strengthens the ethical foundation of research and promotes inclusivity. Working with vulnerable populations, such as children, the elderly, or marginalized groups, requires extra ethical care. Researchers must take additional steps to protect these participants, ensuring that their participation is truly voluntary and that risks are minimized. Special consent procedures and safeguards may be necessary. By prioritizing the well-being of vulnerable groups, researchers uphold the highest ethical standards. Ethics review boards, also known as institutional review boards, IRBs, play a crucial role in overseeing research projects. They review study protocols to ensure that ethical standards are met and that participants are protected. Researchers should seek IRB approval before beginning data collection and remain open to feedback throughout the project. This oversight helps maintain high ethical standards and public confidence in research. Data misuse can have serious ethical and legal consequences. Researchers must be vigilant in preventing unauthorized use, sharing, or manipulation of data. Clear policies, regular training, and monitoring can help reduce the risk of misuse. When issues arise, prompt action and transparent communication are essential. By taking responsibility for data stewardship, researchers protect both participants and the integrity of their work. When ethical breaches occur, it's important to report them promptly and transparently. Researchers should have clear procedures for reporting concerns, whether they involve data misuse, conflicts of interest, or participant harm. Whistleblower protections can encourage honest reporting without fear of retaliation. Addressing breaches openly helps maintain trust and accountability in the research process. Ethical standards in data research are constantly evolving. Ongoing training helps researchers stay up to date with best practices, new regulations, and emerging challenges. Regular workshops, seminars, and online courses can reinforce ethical principles and provide practical guidance. By investing in continuous education, research teams can maintain high ethical standards and adapt to changing expectations. Compliance with laws and regulations is a fundamental aspect of ethical data research. Researchers must be familiar with relevant data protection laws, such as GDPR or HIPAA, and ensure that their practices align with legal requirements. This includes obtaining necessary permissions, maintaining records, and respecting participants' rights. Legal compliance not only protects researchers from liability, but also reinforces ethical standards. Publishing research findings comes with its own set of ethical responsibilities. Researchers should ensure that published data is accurate, properly cited, and free from fabrication or plagiarism. They must also consider the potential impact of their findings on participants and society. Ethical publication practices contribute to the credibility of the research and the advancement of knowledge. Open science promotes transparency and collaboration, but it also raises ethical questions about privacy and data sharing. Researchers must balance the benefits of openness with the need to protect sensitive information. This may involve using data repositories with access controls or sharing only aggregated data. By thoughtfully navigating open science, researchers can advance knowledge while upholding ethical standards. Big data offers powerful insights, but its scale and complexity introduce new ethical challenges. Researchers must be especially careful with data that is collected passively or without explicit consent. Ensuring transparency, respecting privacy, and preventing misuse are critical. By applying ethical principles to big data projects, researchers can harness its potential responsibly. Artificial intelligence and machine learning are transforming data research, but they also raise complex ethical questions. Researchers must ensure that AI systems are fair, transparent, and accountable. This includes addressing algorithmic bias, explaining decision-making processes, and allowing for human oversight. Ethical AI practices help prevent harm and support responsible innovation. Participants in data research have the right to know how their data is used and to provide feedback. Researchers should offer clear channels for questions, concerns, or withdrawal from the study. Respecting participant rights not only fulfills ethical obligations but also enhances the quality and credibility of research. Open communication builds trust and supports ongoing collaboration. Data visualization is a powerful tool for communicating research findings, but it must be used ethically. Researchers should avoid misleading graphs, cherry-picked data, or manipulative visuals. Accurate and honest representation of data helps audiences understand the true story behind the numbers. Ethical visualization practices support transparency and trust in research. Collaboration is essential in data research, but it requires clear ethical guidelines. Researchers should establish shared values, responsibilities, and expectations with collaborators. Open communication and mutual respect help prevent misunderstandings and conflicts. By fostering ethical collaboration, research teams can achieve better outcomes and maintain integrity throughout the project. Proper data storage is a key ethical responsibility. Researchers must ensure that data is stored securely with access limited to authorized personnel. Regular backups and secure disposal of old data help prevent loss or unauthorized access. By managing data storage ethically, researchers protect participant privacy and maintain the integrity of their research. Tools used for data collection can impact ethical standards. Researchers should select tools that protect privacy, ensure data accuracy, and comply with regulations. Regularly reviewing and updating tools helps address new risks and challenges. Ethical tool selection supports responsible data collection and enhances research quality. Data analysis must be conducted with integrity and transparency. Researchers should avoid manipulating data to achieve desired outcomes or ignoring inconvenient results. Honest analysis, clear documentation, and peer review help ensure that findings are reliable and trustworthy. Ethical data analysis is essential for advancing knowledge and maintaining public confidence. Deciding how long to retain research data is an important ethical consideration. Researchers should establish clear retention policies that balance the need for future analysis with privacy concerns. Data should be securely deleted when no longer needed. Ethical data retention practices protect participant rights and reduce the risk of unauthorized access. Monetizing research data introduces unique ethical challenges. Researchers must consider the impact on participants and ensure that data is not exploited for profit without proper consent. Transparent communication about data use and fair compensation, if applicable, are essential. Ethical monetization practices respect participant rights and maintain research integrity. Crowdsourcing data can expand research possibilities but also raises ethical questions. Researchers must ensure that contributors are informed, compensated fairly, and protected from harm. Clear guidelines and transparent communication help maintain ethical standards in crowdsourced projects. By respecting contributors, researchers can harness the power of crowdsourcing responsibly. Social media platforms provide valuable data for research, but ethical challenges abound. Researchers must respect user privacy, obtain consent when possible, and avoid collecting data from private or sensitive spaces. Transparent reporting and adherence to platform policies are essential. Ethical social media research protects users and upholds research standards. Health data is especially sensitive and requires strict ethical safeguards. Researchers must comply with health privacy laws, obtain informed consent, and ensure that data is used only for approved purposes. Protecting health data not only fulfills legal requirements but also demonstrates respect for participants' well-being. Educational data research can improve learning outcomes, but it also involves sensitive information about students and teachers. Researchers must obtain consent, anonymize data, and ensure that findings are used to benefit educational communities. Ethical practices in educational research foster trust and support positive change. Environmental data research supports sustainability and conservation, but it can also impact communities and ecosystems. Researchers must consider the potential consequences of their work and engage stakeholders in decision-making. Ethical environmental research balances scientific goals with social and ecological responsibility. Government data research can inform policy and improve public services, but it also involves sensitive information about citizens. Researchers must comply with regulations, protect privacy, and ensure that findings are used for the public good. Ethical government data research supports transparency and accountability in public institutions. Businesses collect and analyze vast amounts of data, raising ethical questions about consumer privacy and data use. Researchers must be transparent about data practices, obtain consent, and avoid exploiting customer information. Ethical business data research builds consumer trust and supports long-term success. International data research involves navigating different legal, cultural, and ethical standards. Researchers must respect local laws and customs, obtain necessary permissions, and ensure that research benefits all stakeholders. Ethical international research promotes global collaboration and mutual respect. Citizen science projects involve the public in data collection and analysis. Researchers must ensure that participants are informed, respected, and protected from harm. Clear communication and feedback channels help maintain ethical standards and foster community engagement. Archiving research data supports transparency and future analysis, but it must be done ethically. Researchers should anonymize data, restrict access, and comply with legal requirements. Ethical archiving practices protect participant privacy and ensure that data remains a valuable resource for future research. Securely deleting data when it is no longer needed is an ethical obligation. Researchers must ensure that all copies are destroyed and that deletion processes comply with legal and organizational policies. Ethical data deletion protects participant privacy and reduces the risk of unauthorized access. Reusing data for new research projects can be efficient, but it requires careful ethical consideration. Researchers must obtain new consent if the original agreement does not cover the new use and ensure that data is still relevant and accurate. Ethical data reuse respects participant rights and supports responsible research. Linking datasets can provide valuable insights, but it also increases privacy risks. Researchers must ensure that linking does not inadvertently reveal identities or sensitive information. Careful planning, anonymization, and ethical review are essential for responsible data linking. Reporting research findings ethically means presenting results honestly, acknowledging limitations, and avoiding sensationalism. Researchers should provide enough detail for others to evaluate and replicate their work. Ethical reporting supports scientific integrity and public trust in research. Addressing ethical issues in data research is an ongoing journey. By prioritizing respect, transparency, and responsibility, researchers can navigate complex challenges and contribute to trustworthy science. Ethical research not only protects participants but also advances knowledge for the greater good. As we continue to innovate and explore new frontiers in data, let's commit to upholding the highest ethical standards in every project.